Speaking of events happening in the month of August, the 25th annual open house of the University of Nebraska's Gudmundsen Sandhills laboratory is coming up on the 21st of August. During our time out there at last year's event, we got to check out some new technology that's making caring for cattle as efficient as mechanically possible. Bill Dodd has this story. Bill?
Virtual fencing refers to utilizing GPS technology in order to create an invisible area that functions similarly to a physical fence. This new technology is a way to manage cattle to stay within or away from designated areas. At the Gudmundsen Sandhills laboratory, research is currently being conducted to better understand how virtual fencing might complement cattle management strategies.
So right now we're looking at a lot of options with precision livestock management. And one of those options that's currently become available is the use of virtual fencing. And virtual fencing is a tool that essentially is similar to what you might put on a dog to keep it in your yard. It uses GPS to see where that cow's at, and you're able to create fences on a laptop or a computer that would then keep those cattle within a defined area that you could move frequently. And so we're conducting some research looking at how that might be applicable within a grazing system in the Sandhills. It's a collar that fits around the neck of the animal, and it gives a sound audio cue when those cattle come up to a line, a user-defined line, and that's as a warning. And if they keep moving on to that, it'll give them a mild shock. And what we found is it's fairly effective, that once cattle learn that behavior, learn what those signals are telling them, they quickly associate that sound with, okay, this is where I need to stop, and for the most part, they won't go past that. And so we're looking at how this affects some of the behavior of cattle, and better understand how this can be used in a larger operation to really manage grazing. And so really thinking about how do we keep cattle away from areas they may graze too much, and maybe put them in areas where they may not like to graze as much, and to help provide a little bit more targeted, strategic type grazing on a landscape.
Utilizing virtual fencing gives producers the ability to locate grazing cattle actively and accurately. This means there are new opportunities for commercial success by cutting down on additional labor costs and improving pasture management, as well as resource allocation for producers.
We have a long-term data set here where we're looking at plant biomass and how that relates to drought. And so it goes back to 2004 that we've collected plant biomass by plant functional group. And so we have cool season grasses, warm season grasses, forb shrubs in our plant community here, and it's a fairly diverse plant community that we have here in the Sandhills. And so this long-term data sets really allowed us to look at how these plant communities might shift within really wet years or dry years, wet springs or dry summers. And so we've been analyzing that data set here over the last several months, exploring some of those things, and really seeing that there's some dynamics there at play based on when that precipitation comes, when drought happens, how that plant community responds to drought. For example, in 2013, we just saw a tremendous flush of annual forbs after the drought in 2012. And so there's really some interesting dynamics at play year to year in our plant community that we're exploring. Yeah, I mean, the big thing is just managing your grass, and so oftentimes that comes with cuts or adjusting how you graze, and so cuts in your numbers. There's just not as much biomass there. This long-term data set's allowed us to see that between the driest year and the wettest year, it could be as much as 3 times difference in terms of the biomass that's available to those animals. And so that adaptive management is challenging when you have that much variability, so it's just being mindful and watching that rainfall, when that rainfall's coming. Can model it pretty well in terms of how much is available out there, and then just having some other options available. A lot of times if our grasslands can bounce back after a drought, it just takes a little bit of time and recovery. And so that rest is really important, especially if during a drought you might graze a little bit heavier. The following year's management's important. The big thing is can it equate to more grazing days? With better distribution, better utilizing the resource, that's probably a benefit, and it cuts down on labor too. You don't need to be out there putting electric fence or other fences in, and it allows some more labor savings in that way.
While options for purchase on a tracking system of this magnitude may be a high-dollar investment at this point in time, it's easy to see the upsides that this technology can have for producers in the very near future. Reporting for Market Journal, I'm Bill Dodd.